Hello everybody, we're getting ready to do 6.3 part 1 of pre-algebra math. Part 2, part 3 available here. And this 6.3 part 1, solving proportions using cross products. We have a 38-point classwork sheet today and we have 0 points of notebook taking. And today's bell work teachers is write the fraction in simplest forms here, students. And then solve this equation, students. So give your students about 5 minutes here. Okay, welcome back for our solutions to today's bell work. And down here first, important thing here is to they move over to 3/8 over on the right side and then multiply through by 4. So 72 over 8, which is 9, and then 3 over 8, they combine those. Then multiply everything by 4, and you get x equals 75 over 2, or 37 1/2 for number 2. And then this one here, just factor it down here, 14 to prime factoring here of variables, and the constant, the coefficients here are factored out. And then just cancel where you can, and you end up with 2xy, 2xy over 5, and that's your solution. Okay, into our lesson today. You solve simple proportions. You'll solve proportions using cross products. Every pair of ratio has 2 cross products. The cross products of 2 ratios, this word's ratios, this is your classwork sheet, is the product of the numerator of one ratio and the denominator of the other ratio. So for example, 3 over 5 and 6 over 10. How would we cross product those? It'd be 3 times 10 equals 5 times 6. And then this one here would be 2 times 11 equals 3 times 6. That'd be using cross products to see if the ratios are equal. So 3 over 5 and 6 over 10. The ratios are equal and their cross products are equal. For the ratios of 2 over 3 and 6 over 11, the ratios are not equal, and neither are their cross products. You can use cross products to tell whether 2 ratios form a proportion. If the cross products are equal, the ratios form a proportion. So, for example, tell whether the ratios form a proportion, 9 over 51 and 6 over 34. 9 over 51 and 6 over 34, so we use cross products here. We get 306 equals 306. 9 times 34. Does that equal 51 times 6? And it does here. So the ratios form a proportion. And then for part B of example 1, with 12 over 20 and 32 over 50. And do they form a ratio? So 12 times 50, does that equal 20 times 32? 600 does not equal 640. Therefore, the ratios do not form a proportion. These do not. They're not proportion to each other. So let's do a guided practice here. Tell whether the ratios form a proportion. So we cross product here. 240 equals 240. These ratios form a proportion. Students, this is on you. You can use the multiplication property of equality to demonstrate an important property about the cross products of a proportion. A over B equals C over D. So in this situation here, A over B times BD over 1 would equal C over D times BD over 1. Multiply each side by BD and divide out the common factors. So if you multiply BD here, we're going to use our denominators here to multiply both sides out. So what does that give us? AD equals CB. So AD equals CB. So we kind of prove it here by using our denominators to multiply out and reduce proving that cross products are equal to each other. The result gives a property, so we get a property from that proof there. The cross products of a proportion are equal. Given that 2 over 5 equals 6 over 15, you let 2 times 15 equals 5 times 6. If A over B equals C over D, where this situation is here, then AD equals BC. AD equals BC. You can use the cross products Solve proportions. Okay, well, let's solve one. Hair growth. Human hair grows about 0.7 centimeters in 2 weeks. How long does it take to grow 14 centimeters is the question. Okay, so we form a proportion here. 0.7 in 2 weeks, and then 14 centimeters. How long does it take to grow 14 centimeters? And this is our unknown right here. It's the number of weeks. 0.7 for 2, and then 14 for how long. And we put that in our denominator. We cross product. 0.7x equals 2 times 14. And we get 0.7x equals 28. And then divide each side by 0.7. We can get rid of this here. And then 28 divided by 0.7 is what? 40. So to grow 14 centimeters, it would take 40 weeks to grow that much, using a proportion here. Isn't that cool? So it takes about 40 weeks to grow 14 centimeters. Okay, into our next guided practice, we have this one here. Students, this is yours here. Let's solve this one up here. So 0.4 over 6 equals 18 over z. And we cross product here, and we divide through by 0.4, and we get z equals 270. And students, this is all you. And that is part 1 of lesson 6.3. Part 2 and part 3 available here, as well as worksheets and everything else. Thank you.